What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm here today to give you guys a review of the Action Bronson collaboration with New Balance on this 990 V6 Baklava. This is probably the #1 shoe that I've been getting requests to do a review on, and finally I managed to grab a pair for myself. So Action Bronson is a man of many talents, rapper, chef, and now he can add New Balance collaborator to that list. So this collaboration dropped back in late March for a price of $220 US or $285 here in Canada. The official colorway for this shoe is Pixel Green and Dazzling Blue, and the style code for this shoe is M990AB6. So the tagline behind this collaboration is specializing in life. And according to New Balance's website, the colorway for this shoe is inspired by everything that makes us up as beings. So we have elements such as water to earth and a small touch of New Balance gray to round out the design. And while I've reviewed the 990 V6 in that classic gray colorway on my channel a few months ago, it makes sense why this first collaboration really stole the show and it really brought the 990 V6 to the limelight. But I'd be lying if I said that this was a universally loved shoe. And honestly, I think the opinions behind this colorway were pretty split. Even for myself, when I first saw the initial product images of this shoe, I'll be the first to admit I was pretty confused and I was hating on this shoe. And as cliche as it sounds, I guess the more that I was exposed to it, just seeing it on Instagram, seeing it on Reddit, and seeing it on sneaker websites and blogs, it's just one of those things where the more you just see something, the more you get comfortable with it, and the more it just grows attractive to you. So I don't know how you guys feel about this colorway, and did your opinions also shift over time? But let me know in the comment section down below. So first things first, here's a quick look at the box. So this comes in this light gray colored cardboard box, and we have the shiny New Balance logo on the very top. And then on the side of the box, we have both Baklava and New Balance branding done in that same glossy finish. And then on the back side of the lid, you'll see it's done in this metallic blue finish, and we have a QR code in the middle, which if you scan, takes you to the Specializing in Life website. So taking a deep dive into the details of this shoe, as we start things off on the toe box, this is covered in this neon green colored mesh, which is definitely the loudest and the most visually striking part of the entire shoe. Right above this, towards the laces, we have this synthetic olive green overlay with the New Balance branding done in this reflective silver 3M, and we have another reflective 3M panel at the edge on the medial side. Overlaid on either side of the toe box, we have these tan colored overlays, which is actually also done in this reflective 3M finish. And then wrapping around the front toe cap, here we have this very soft pig suede, which is done in more of a dark tan or light brown color. Covering the eyelets of the shoe, we have a gray colored pig suede. And then for the top two eyelets, this is covered in another layer of this reflective 3M. And then underneath this, on the mid panel, we have this oversized New Balance N logo, which is also done in this reflective 3M finish in a mix of white and silver. And then underneath this, we have more of that tan colored reflective material, and you'll see the suede that we saw earlier on the toe box. This surrounds the entire bottom half of the shoe, wrapping around the back as well. Moving further down, so you'll see we have more of that neon green colored mesh, and then found on the lateral side of the heel, we have this 990 branding pressed onto the suede. In the middle of the heel, we have this TPU heel clip, which gives you added structure and support for the back end of the shoe. This is done in this bright neon orange color, and we have the New Balance logo in silver along with Made in USA branding on the bottom. And then on the very top of the heel, this is covered in a purple colored mesh. In terms of laces, so these were a very interesting lace choice. Instead of the normal flat style lace, these actually come with these trail inspired rope laces, which is done in the mix of pink and purple. Underneath this, so the bottom half of the tongue is constructed out of a gray colored mesh, and then the top half of the tongue is covered in more of a tightly wound mesh, similar to the mesh that you'd find on a pair of shorts, for example. And then we have these light blue colored overlays on the very top of the tongue with Baklava 990 V6 branding. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe is lined in this dark green colored mesh. And then as far as the insoles go, so these come with a decently well padded foam insole, and it's covered in this black colored nylon on the top, and we have Baklava New Balance branding stamped on the heel in this neon green color. So the upper of the 990 V6 sits atop this very chunky fuel cell foam midsole. So fuel cell is one of New Balance's top cushioning technologies, and it's incorporated throughout this entire midsole. So it's painted in this dark blue colored finish on the forefoot and a light blue finish on the heel. And in the middle of this midsole, in addition to fuel cell, we also have New Balance's end cap technology, which is a dual density foam setup consisting of a softer EVA core in the middle, surrounded by a stiffer polyurethane rim, which gives you a good balance of softness and support. Finally, turning this pair over to the bottom, so the outsole here is constructed out of a mix of black colored rubber along with a more semi-translucent light blue colored rubber on the forefoot. So the traction pattern has this wavy finish to it, and we have these grooves to give you added flexibility, and then in the middle of the heel, you'll see we have this exposed fuel cell foam, which is this lighter blue foam that you see on the heel. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about sizing, to me these fit like my gray 990 V6s. So my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and I got these in a size 9.5. If you have a narrow or normal width foot, I feel like you should go a half size down because the 990 V6 is definitely a shoe that runs longer compared to its previous counterparts like the V3, V4, and V5. But if you have a really wide foot, I feel like this portion of the shoe right here, right where the bottom lace is, it feels a little bit restricting straight out of the box. So even for myself, my feet aren't that wide, but it does take some time to really break in this shoe to the point where you don't feel irritation around this area right here. But again, if your feet are really wide, unfortunately this shoe doesn't come in different widths, so I just recommend sticking true to size if you want to, and dealing with that extra length in the toe box. But again, for myself, I could deal with that width issue, and I prefer more of a snug fit. That's why I go a half size down to avoid any heel slippage or just extra length. To give you guys a point of comparison, I also go with a 9.5 in other New Balance silhouettes like the 992, 993, 990 V3, V4, and V5. And in comparison, I stick true to size or a size 10 in other New Balance silhouettes like the 2002R, 1906R, a lot of made in UK models like the 991, 1500, and 1530. Moving on to the comfort of this shoe. So overall, it's a very comfortable shoe, but it's very different from the previous iterations of the New Balance 990 series. Because it has a very chunky, oversized fuel cell midsole, I'd say that it's definitely more plush and softer underfoot. But because of that, I feel like it loses a bit of that stability that, for example, the V5 was very effective at. So for example, if I'm leaning backwards towards the heel of the shoe, because it's so chunky, I can feel like my foot's wobbling a little bit. So it's kind of the trade-off you get with getting this oversized, chunky midsole, in that yes, it's more plush and softer underfoot, but you don't feel as stable, as low to the ground. So it comes down to personal preference on how you like your shoes to feel. Finally, in terms of the overall quality and craftsmanship, so first off, material quality, I thought it was decent. To be honest, there are a lot of synthetic materials on this shoe, but the portions of the shoe where they gave us genuine leather, it felt very nice to the touch. And in terms of the build and the craftsmanship, I thought it was solid. So the stitch job was good, there weren't too many glue stains except for on the midsole, and I thought the paint job overall was decent as well. So this is a pretty solid pickup. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good as far as New Balance made in USA goes. So with all that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet. I'll lace them up and I'll show you guys how these look. I think it's pretty safe to say that Action Bronson didn't play it safe whatsoever in his debut collaboration with New Balance. And in fact, we've seen a second colorway that's supposed to be coming out soon. That colorway is a lot more wearable, I'd say, compared to these ones, but there's something about first colorways that just seems more special. And again, coming down to personal preference, I can see why people like this colorway more than the second one. That upcoming colorway is a bit more reserved, a bit more conservative looking, where this one really goes off the wall, and it's just an absolutely crazy, random looking colorway. So for myself, like I mentioned in the beginning, this shoe definitely has grown on me. I wouldn't say that it's one of my top releases of the year, but it's just such a unique and strange looking colorway, and I think somehow New Balance and Action Bronson, they just made it work. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this shoe, and if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on my Instagram as well at esco8, follow my Twitter account at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So until next time, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.